Hello, I'm Edgar, head of the international department at Liangma Law Firm. We have 100 lawyers and several branches in Guangdong province. We are here to take care of all of your legal problems in China. You name it, we'll solve it.
Hi, I'm Gary, and I'm back here today with Edgar to fix an issue that we're having. He previously helped us with a HR problem and legally represented us, which worked out perfectly for everybody. Edgar was originally highly recommended to us by a good friend. So based on our previous experience with Edgar, my partner and I have decided to hire him again to assist with a financial disagreement that we're having with a local company. As usual, his advice and guidance has been amazing. We're already feeling confident that he will be able to resolve his issue quickly with a win-win for everybody. With Edgar, it's easy. He's Chinese with perfect English language and with an amazing understanding of Western culture. You always win when you choose Edgar.
Contact me anytime for your free legal consultation. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Hello everyone, Craig here. Welcome to another edition of the podcast, Tell Craig Your Story. Today we'll be doing something different. We are going to have our very first online roundtable, and the topic today is going to be the Shanghai Lockdown of 2022. Now, the three other guests that we had on the podcast are from China, England, and from Canada, and all living in China during the second lockdown in Shanghai. So we have Josh Pemberton, we have Jason Schaller, and Ceci. It's already tough living in a foreign country that doesn't speak English, but when they go into a major full lockdown, it's extremely difficult. But everyone's got through it now, back out of the lockdown, and they're going to tell their story about how they survived it. There's some very positive things that have come out of this lockdown. But before we go, please go to our website. We're at Podbean. Tell Craig your story at podbean.com. We have all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Jump on there and give us a like, give us a comment. We also have VK for our Russian listeners and WeChat for our Chinese listeners at Tell Craig Your Story. And we're on all the major streaming services, including Spotify, Apple iTunes, and Google Podcast. All right, here we go. This is my chat with Jason, Ceci, and Josh. And the topic is the Shanghai Lockdown in 2022 on Tell Craig Your Story podcast. Hi guys, how you doing today?
Hi.
Hello.
I'm hungover as fuck, Craig, so.
Yeah,
That's like
I heard
great
you were going to have a
start.
big night last night, Jace.
Oof.
Feeling alright now? Or?
Just like got to go ahead to reopen, so I was there, and then I was at Data for my buddy Skinny Brown was doing a live sort of music set.
Awesome. And Josh, how have you been after like a lockdown?
Oh, how have I been after the lockdown? No, I mean, not too bad, but sort of chomping at the bit to either get back to normality, but mostly just to, eventually just get it out, essentially. That's where I'm at right now.
I hear you. And Ceci, hello again.
Thanks
for being here.
Thank you. So, after the lockdown, I guess pretty much back to normal, the life.
Yeah.
Going back to work, hang out with friends, busy with this. I mean, everything. Besides, I have to do the daily task. Other things are all normal, I guess.
Now let's stop there. Is it 72 hours or is it 24 hours? You have to get a test now.
For me, I have to do it. I have to keep myself within 24 hours.
Every 24 hours you have to have a PCR test?
Yes, that means daily.
Jeez. All right.
Oh, that's
okay.
right?
And Jace, do you have to do the same thing? Or I thought it was 72 hours.
It was 72 for most places, but now it's some places are doing like 48, like the gym's 48, my school's 48, although I don't have to actually go on campus, but some places are doing like 48 now. But I think for most, like I think metro and like supermarkets are still 72. When you do your test, you still got to wait like 10, 12 hours before you even get your fucking results. So
yeah,
I can swear on this, right?
Yeah.
I think we got up to last time, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Fuck yeah.
And Josh, what are you doing? You doing 24, 48?
My community gets tested pretty much every 2 days. So we had did it on Tuesday, did it on Thursday, and I'm pretty sure tonight we have to do it, which is so annoying.
The 24 hours is only for my industry, I guess. So the normal regulation from the government is still 72 and some 48. But for us, specifically, it's 24.
Right. And I'm in day 6 of the quarantine. As of today, it's 7 days in a hotel and 3 days in your apartment. But the guy downstairs that can speak English said that I have to stay in the hotel for 10 days. So I'm disputing that. They said that only certain areas of Shanghai have got the 3 days in your apartment. I'm going to dispute that so I can get out as soon as possible. And like
So
you guys.
You're in Shanghai, Craig?
Yeah, I'm quarantined.
Okay. I didn't realize you came back.
Yeah, day 6 in quarantine. Ready to go.
Oh, all right. One person we didn't leave.
Definitely overdue for a few beers. Let's go back to before it started. So I'm not sure about you guys, but I went into a lockdown for 5 or 6 days prior to the full lockdown. Did you guys have the same situation? And what was that like?
I got locked down in my school for 2 days before it all happened.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
So I was there on what seemed like a normal Wednesday. And how it works at my school is if I have a class for the last period, I don't finish until 4. But if I don't, I finish at 3:45. So on Wednesdays, finish at normal 3:45. I'm there, and at 3:20, member of staff comes in and says, we all have to stay in school for 2 nights. And I'm just like, you are joking with me, right? But it was like, no. So I immediately rang up my wife and said, I won't be coming home because I have to stay here for 2 days because they think somebody's got COVID or something. I think it was a parent of a kid that none of my colleagues even taught had COVID. So within hours, the kids have to stay behind for a bit. Then they come in and do mass testing of us all. The kids get to go home and we have to stay in school for 2 days. So we didn't have lessons for the next 2 days, which I'm sorry. If someone had said to me, oh, you still have to teach a normal class, I'd have gone, that's great. Are you going to let me go home so I can have a shower first? No? Then I'm not doing it. So, yeah it was 2 days of being stuck in school.
So did they let you bring like sleeping bags and pillows?
They had sleeping bags and pillows. No, because when they told us on the day, that was it. We couldn't, from 3:20 being told, we could not leave the school. We had to stay there. So I couldn't, had I known in advance that this was something that could have happened, I maybe would have packed a bag, or I maybe would have asked my wife, could you help me assemble some stuff in the event that this happens?
Yeah.
But we didn't know. I just went in and thought it was a normal day. But they supplied sleeping bags to us. I have to say, sleeping on a classroom floor was probably the single most uncomfortable experience of my life. My back was screaming.
Weren't there tables? You could have slept on a table.
I mean,
That's a dignity, man.
I don't know if you know this. I'm not the smallest of people, so the thought of me sleeping on a table, I thought I feel sorry for the table.
Yeah.
What
Wow.
what district were you in, Josh?
Shuhui.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
right.
You teach in Shuai?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right.
damn.
Yeah.
There you
Yes,
go.
It's in a lovely area, but
Yes, I feel lucky that I work in hospitality industry. I mean, knock on wood, if I have to be locked in the company, so we have guest rooms.
you
Ah,
work in a hotel.
there
Yes,
you go. Ah, right. And Jace, did it affect you as well? Like,
Basically, our last day of school at the old kindy, they came and they tested everybody, and it's like, you could all go home. It's like, why'd you test us and just like send us out? Like, what if we don't know the results? And like, nope. And then we never got the results because I needed the results. That's when it first started. Like, it was the last day Inferno was open. Then that was on a Friday. We had an event at Inferno the Saturday, and we needed 48-hour test results. I'm like, well, I just did it with my school. I'm like asking the principal and everybody. I'm like, can I get the test results? Because I needed to like enter my own bar. And they're like, no, you don't have them. We don't have the results. I'm like, well, why do we do all those tests like that? And like, it was just like, it seemed like it was just a photo op. Because like, there was just people taking pictures and stuff, and like
yeah.
kids and like people being swabbed, and then I couldn't get the results for the life of me.
Well, my memory was we did, the school was the same, but like I heard that Josh was sleeping at his school and other people,
Chris does it all the time. That's just,
they've already gone home, and we actually went all the way till the final Friday. We're just having meetings every morning, and they just say, until they come to us and say we're going to close down. But yeah, we stayed open right till the end. But the funny thing was, I don't know how they do the zoning, because we were in lockdown for the first one for 5 days, and the gym that I go to is probably 100 meters down the road, and that was fully open. And I saw pictures of them in the gym. The place was packed. Everybody's sweating. Everybody's easiest way to catch COVID. And I just asked the owner, I said, is there any thoughts of you shutting down for COVID? And he went, no, the government haven't said anything. I was like, damn, I'm here for like 7 days in lockdown, and you guys are, sweating away in the gym. So all of a sudden, the huge lockdown come down. So it was 5 days in Pudong and then 5 days in Puto.
5 days.
That was originally the first one, right?
So your school is in Pudong, sorry?
Yeah, mine's in Pudong.
Oh man, yeah, Pudong got hit hard with all that.
Yeah.
I guess the worst, right?
I think Pudong, well, they got locked down first, and then it said Puto will have 5 days as well. That was the start of it, but
just 5 days.
Yeah, no takeaway. All the roads shut down. So, what was it like? And then I had 5 days. They said 5 days. It's okay. I'll stock up the fridge, and then we're going to be in for another 2 weeks. What?
Yeah.
How am I going to eat?
we stocked up as best we could. We almost actually, like in our house, like after I got back from school for the 2 days, I get a call the next day from, the next day from the CDC saying that I, by myself, have to be quarantined in my house for 2 weeks because they think that I've been in contact with somebody, so they come and test my wife and I. Then they come. Then the day after they come and ask, like, "Is this your name? Your name is Damien." I went, "No, my name is Josh." You said your name was Damien. I didn't tell you shit what my name was. You didn't ask me. Turns out they were actually looking for my colleague, and then it was like, "Well, sorry, but hey, you can go outside now." Like, thank you for making me worry and preparing for the fact that I'd have to be stuck in my house for 2 weeks. Of course, as time went on, 2 weeks seems like a short amount of time compared to 2 months.
And for you, Ceci?
Yeah, I remember before the massive lockdown, I still remember the date, the 16th of March. That was first day lockdown in my community compound. The day I got up normal and prepared everything normal and ready to go to work. But when I went downstairs, wow, the door was locked, and I was told, oh, we could now go out of the community, and yeah, we have to stay at least for 2 days. Wow. I mean, okay, because there is like a black and white paper with a chart seeing like something. So I just took a photo of that and sent that to our HR. Hey, I have the black and white that I'm locked inside. Yeah,
Wow.
but that's fine, just for 2 days, Yeah.
And Josh, so going through that sort of time, like we're in lockdown and there's no deliveries, but we're all getting food, right? Everyone's getting food delivered and like toiletries and all that, which was great.
Also.
But then like the knock on the door, like random times, and go down, line up, do the test.
Oh God.
Josh, you were quite busy during this period as well, as much as it was tedious. That you actually got married.
Yeah, I got
during
married.
this time.
I got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's been extra hard for you, Josh.
What was that?
I don't know.
Must have been extra hard. Lockdown.
No,
man.
So how did it wasn't extra hard. If it was extra hard for my wife, she has to put up with this on a daily basis. She's smiling, thinking, yes, I do. So
was it a difficult to do during the lockdown? Like, and why the decision to do it in this time?
I proposed the rather shittest proposal ever. I got down on one knee in the kitchen because I got the ring that she has was left by my grandma. It was left, and my mum asked my grandma could she keep it for me. Otherwise, it was just going to go. So it's a family heirloom. So we took it to a jeweler and got it resized and whatnot. And then the moment I got it back, I was like, I'm just too excited. I want to do it now. So did the proposal. Anyway, fast forward a few years. So we were planning on getting married. We were going to do like an online thing anyway, but it would have been at a place in front of family and friends around the summertime. We're there during lockdown and we're having a conversation, and it's, along the lines of like, it'd be easier if we were married for visa purposes and things like that. And I think I just turned to her and said, should we just do it? Should we just get married like right now during this lockdown? What have we got to lose? So Zanri did some research, found that the state of Utah do online marriages. You don't need to show any affidavits of previously being married. You don't need to, declare anything and whatnot. So there we were on the 15th of April. I remember the date, sat in front of a computer on Zoom to this guy from Utah who wouldn't shut up for love nor money. Our parents and whatnot. We do our vows. I do my vows in Afrikaans, in which I got a friend of ours to help me translate what I wanted to say in Afrikaans, and I'm there like I was beforehand listening, going da 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 da. Right, hang on, what's that last bit? So yeah, we there we were. We got married in front of. We want to have a party though. So Jason, I don't know if Inferno do any things, but I'll be down for some heavy metal.
We did a birthday party last time, so we might as well do your wedding party.
The wife finds Marilyn Manson's voice incredibly alluring, so if you could ensure that some Marilyn Manson is played, then...
How rock and roll. Congratulations, mate. I don't think too many can claim to fame that they got married during the Shanghai Lockdown in 2020.
No, well, if they did, but yeah. No, it's good, though. It's nice. Obviously, we would have loved to have done it in front of friends. I do feel like lockdown robbed us of the experience of, being there in front of people. But at the same time, lockdown gave us one hell of a story.
Are you going to do like a ceremony in South Africa and...
So the idea I've got for
England?
Back home in the UK is I know somebody who just got married at Warwick Castle. I'm not going to go into who did. Disclaimer, my wife's a huge Richard III fan. Warwick Castle's of historical significance. So I want to do like renewing of vows and do a ceremony back home there.
That sounds pretty cool.
So I need to I need to go and email some people and see how that will go. But yeah, we'd like to do something in South Africa as well.
That's really awesome. And Jace, same with Josh as well. Like, you were keeping very, very busy in this time.
Dude, yeah.
I get these emails and messages that I'm a part of a video game, and people are coming up telling me that I'm a part of this video game, and yeah. So tell us how this all come about, your video game.
And I don't even know how it started. I started like 3 years ago. I think on like Chinese New Year's, just had some time off. I had like some vague experience with that game at like years before that. And I was like, that's cool. Like, 'cause I played RPGs as a kid. So like, or like JRPGs, I think they're called. So I was like, I knew the layout of RPGs and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll make my own. That's cool. And then, so I just started, I don't even know how I started, man. I think I was just trying to do like an Inferno Bar, like 1 minute RPG or something just for fun. Just like, then, I made Inferno. Then I'm like, all right, I'll make Spectres. I'm like, all right, I'll make Data. Then I just made like whole of fucking Shanghai, and I just kept going, and like eventually I just had to stop it. So I started that, and then I didn't work on it until I think I only worked on it every time I was on like holidays for over like 3 years. And then eventually I didn't even want to work on it anymore. It was just something that just hung at the back of my head. It's like, man, you got to finish this. You put so much work into it.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares. Why are you even doing this? And it was just like, it was giving me like mental problems or something. Like it was something so heavy on me that was unfinished. And the more I put work into it, the more I had to finish it. And then but every time I went back to it, I forgot how I did everything. So it'd be like 6 months or a year apart every time I worked on it. I'm like, oh man, how did I even program that? Or how did I do this?
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh man, I was like, I had to like just finally finish it, or else I was going to just like get like PTSD from it or something like that. So, yeah, so I was like locked down. Obviously I had like, some time on my hands. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Finish it. I got some friends to like test it out. And then I was like, all right, good. I just want to get this off of me and just finish it. So I just like sent it, dropped in like the Infernal group chat or something like that. And then it just fucking like exploded.
Yeah. And then it's so in depth. It's like all the major bars, all the major clubs here in Shanghai. And for someone that has no idea, it's a great way to sort of learn about. I've played the game a couple of times. I always get killed by Rat King. The Rat King. Yeah. It's just, damn you, Rat King.
There's a broom. There's an old eye broom in Data in the first level that like, it's got like, I don't know, 300% extra attack against Rat King.
Oh, right.
Gotta talk, give it the keys.
Yeah, and like all the people that you would know in the music community as well, radios in there, yourself, yeah. So it was really cool.
I put one person in, and I'm like, all right, I gotta put this person in. And the more people I put in, the more I got worried about leaving somebody out. I'm like, all right, if I put 20 people in, all right, not a big deal. I put 100 people in now. If anybody's left out, it's almost like an insult to them. So then I'm like, all right, I'll make sure I have one person from like each band or project or somebody who could like be linked to everything. Like a Carpenter, I started putting everybody. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do this for every fucking band. This is too much. So I just put like, I couldn't. I wasn't gonna put. I don't even know the members from all of the bands. Like if I really wanted to do it. So I was just like, okay, I'm just putting Tyler from Flip House. He represents Flip House. For Rachel, he's sort of Flip House, but she'll snuff disco. I'm just like one person, like sort of represent at least like somebody from linked, like a vector to all their bands. Cause it was too much, man. And I was just getting like anxiety of like, man, I don't want people to think I don't like them, but I can't put every single human being I've met in Shanghai in this. I'm just like, all right, as long as I have one person that's somehow linked to other people, that's fine.
Yeah, Rachel was trying to tell me something at the C's bar. I don't know what it was. Go to some other bar to get some credit or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was. I couldn't stop laughing about all the people that I met, and yeah, really, really cool. Great idea. Do you have plans to do like another one, or is that pretty much taken a lot of your time up?
Pretty well. People are like, I don't know. People talk to me. Some people want to invest in it and stuff, and like they're like, oh man, money off this. But I'm like, I got other bands. Like all the songs in there Actually, I don't know if you remember Nikita from back in the day, but Nikita, who used to work at Inferno, was for a short time he was sure. I had him actually make the MIDI versions of other bands' songs and stuff. So like all the songs in there, not all the songs, but the songs at least in Union Tongue and the Family Mart song, they're all actually like other band songs put in MIDI form. So when people start talking about money and stuff, I'm like, man, it's not even my music and stuff. Like these are other people's bands and songs and stuff. So I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stop there. Also, something I just wanted to like finish, and then all of a sudden people are like telling me or asking me like, come on, let's keep going, let's do more with this. And I'm like, man, this is something I just wanted to get off of me and like not have anything to do with anymore. I did actually fool around with like multiplayer mode, and I sort of got it working. But then like the lockdown ended, I was like, fuck it, no one's gonna play this anymore. So
I want to play it.
It's fun.
I'm gonna add in this too. That's why I wanted to put Rex in that Inferno, but I was saving Rex. I don't know if you know Rex from Lopez, if you remember him.
Yeah.
I was gonna do like maybe Lopez as well, but I wasn't sure if Lopez was open. It takes place 2018-19. I know Lopez was open, then it closed and it opened again. I couldn't remember. Either way, fuck that game. I hate it.
Next time we guys have a gig, can I be invited?
Man, we're trying to have gigs. We just got we're playing a gig for September 3rd. And then just last night, like everyone in every band, it's like a 7-band show. Everybody has to be vaccinated. And whatever people feel about vaccinations or whatever, but I can't force 7 bands, every member to be vaccinated. I'm vaccinated myself. But
does the vaccine can the vaccine that we had back in 2020 is that because I got vaccinated last year?
Oh, I have no idea. But like our drummer's leaving like November, so he's like, I'm gonna get vaccinated, but I'm not gonna get like the ones here. I'm gonna get them back home in Italy.
I love.
He's got some reservations about the ones here.
Sorry,
but like,
speaking,
I loved Alessandro's posts on Facebook. Like that guy was so insanely positive.
Oh man, he should be on here too, man. He had a trip during lockdown.
Yeah.
COVID gulags.
Speaking of your 3 boosters or whatever, the first week that I went back to Australia, went up to Brisbane with a bunch of my mates, did a road trip up to Brisbane, rugby league, started sneezing, come back to Newcastle, did a test, 2 lines, I got COVID in Brisbane. After less than 1 week of being in Australia, it's just one football game. God damn it. Yeah, Australia's very casual now, and same with the US, and I'm sure Canada's the same, that it's like another flu now. If you get COVID, you just take 7 days off. They give you like a doctor's certificate, and it's like, okay, you can go back to work. End of story. I put my mask on, and I've told this 1,000 times already, but I put my mask on to go shopping. My dad said, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? What are you putting your mask on for? It's so 2020. Like, take it off." Like,
it's 2020.
yeah.
I guess in the whole world, most of the places are back to normal, but we still have to have our masks.
But for you, like, tell us your experience in the lockdown and like, what are the governments saying? Because as far as I'm aware, like, it's very last minute. It's not like a long plan. Okay, we're going to do this, and this. It's always like, okay, today we're going to do this, and everyone has to do it. How are the Chinese community or the Shanghai community
Well, cause I also live in Xuhui, and when I got a notice that we'll have a massive lockdown in the whole city, Pudong got locked first, right? And then our areas. So we still had some time to get prepared, especially for your food. I guess everyone was rushing to the supermarket, to wherever you can buy the food, wherever you can buy. I still remembered the supermarket, every shop was empty.
Yeah.
It's like literally empty. You grab anything you can have, right? So
like in the US, like people were fighting for toilet paper. You know, they were bringing like crates of toilet paper.
Food is always a priority, right? So but after that, from my own thinking was like, well, maybe not for like only 4 or 5 days, but let's say 2 weeks. Who can imagine that we had 2 months? Well, so I mean, no matter you're a foreigner or you're Chinese, no matter where you're from, you stayed in Shanghai at that period. Everybody felt anxious.
Yeah.
Felt we should have the same feelings, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's mentally as well. Not so much physically. It's
So you know,
mentally draining to sit there for long periods of time, and if you're not working and you don't have family here, it can be very.
whether you're a foreigner or you're Chinese, we're still same.
Mm,
Cause I lived alone at that time, and but I mean, luckily I still have to do some work at home, like work from home, and in my building there are more peers. I mean, same aged people than like other buildings, so we helped each other, and
yeah,
yeah, I guess that's pretty much same everywhere in Shanghai, in every community, right? People help each other.
yeah. Jace, you were gonna say something?
Man, I think I'm the only person who loved it. I know, like, I
Yeah.
knew fundamentally there's something wrong with this and it's a horrible situation, but like, if I gotta be honest, man, that was like the best holiday I ever had. I don't say this disparagingly, like, to people who had a hard time. I know people had a hard time, and like, I knew fundamentally, like, this isn't, something's, fuck with this. This isn't like right. You can't really do this to people. But really, for myself, man, I was like, oh, fuck. Cause I'm like always out and shit. I always got to talk to people. I always got to do shit. And I was like, I had like 2 months to just do stuff. I made music. I released that fucking
Yeah.
finally, like, I learned how to do like some digital drawing and shit. Like I started getting into that stuff. Like I started learning stuff. I had time to read and watch a lot of fucking Star Trek. Man, I was like, there wasn't really, if I got to be honest, there wasn't a fucking minute I was bored. Not a minute, the whole 2 months. But like, that being said, like I still knew it was wrong, but I was like, it was a holiday for me.
But that's the thing, like, I like your positive way of thinking, mate. Like, you're always sort of busy even though you're in lockdown, and that's really cool. I try and do the same thing. Like, in the quarantine here, it's my 6th day, and like, the phone's been off the hook. Like, just trying to work things out, just try and plan things, and with music, and trying to get the work back together, and there's lots of people that I haven't seen, for a couple of months now. So yeah, it just gives you like this whole sort of, I'm ready to get out, I'm ready to record, I'm ready to study, I'm ready to do all these things that are like, just like, I'm like in the cage, like jogging on the spot, ready to get out there. So yeah, I'm trying to do it that way as well. Josh, for you, mate?
What, in terms of how I found lockdown?
Yeah.
I wish I could be positive, but truth is, the one in 2020 wasn't too bad because I was like, I can walk out onto the streets and there's no one around and it's great. But no, this one, I would love to say it was positive, and there were moments where it was positive. The getting married was nice. And yes, I can understand the whole trying to do more things, but for me, the motivation levels were not there. It was kind of like Groundhog Day. We wake up, both my wife taught online. I made lessons for my school, so it'd be get up, do what I have to do, and then before you knew it, the day was over. So thank the Lord that I started my teaching certificate, because that's been a welcome distraction as well. Slightly numbing and very, very irritating at times, but it's been a good distraction. But yeah, it was not a fun experience at all. Waking up, getting messages in our group wondering like, oh joy, what horrible things are going to happen now? But I was going to make a point when you were talking about when you were back in Australia and you had the 2 lines of COVID. Now, you know the movie Monsters, Inc. If you'd have been in Shanghai and that had happened, it would have been the equivalent of that whole, we have a 2319.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Surrounded by people in hazmat suits with
Well,
swabs.
Well, it's funny you say that. It took me. I'll go into it another podcast, but it took me a lot to get back.
Yeah,
Especially after getting COVID, they did reduce the restrictions of letting people to come in, but I was very lucky to come back. And then my visa expired, so that made it even worse. So a double banger I got. Anyway, I get to the Shanghai airport on Sunday morning, and I've gone through all these health protocols, like testing every day and submitting it to the Auckland embassy and the Sydney embassy. And then I've done all the health checks, and I get through to Shanghai airport. Ding, 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 ding. Red lights going off, and it's like, oh, what now? And they said, you have COVID. And it's like, yes, I've had COVID. Yes, I had. When did you have it? May. Do you have a cold? Do you have any symptoms? And I was like, no.
If I had symptoms, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be in this. I wouldn't have gotten this far. Yeah, I think even for people that got it in the start, I think they're still going to be actually the former principal of my school, she got COVID here. She's British. Maybe she should come onto the podcast, because apparently it was like a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Apparently they take you to like a room, and one's ladies and one's men, and there's one shower, one toilet for 50.
I can now imagine how like foreigners experience that.
Yeah. She wasn't allowed to change her clothes. Yeah, so all these things, peeing, like, not in the toilet, just doing it.
Wow.
It was traumatic. So, yeah.
Concentration camp shit there, man. Like,
yeah, that's really, really old school. So.
But it's the fact that they spend all this money on wanting to, like, build things like that and making new testing things. And it's like, why didn't you just spend the money on a better vaccine?
Yeah, well, yeah, that goes into
people agree
thing.
with me. Yes.
I think vaccine's more of a time issue. Like, figure that out.
When I was home, is what's going to happen when there's a new variant?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what's been happening the last 2 years. Like, seems to be analogous to the flu. Like, there's just a new one every year now. We're just gonna have to get like another shot, just like the flu.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like we only have like the flu and COVID. Like those, that's it. Like over humanity, that's what we're like really getting shots against. Like we got smallpox and shit, but like they're the only two mutating viruses that we have to deal with. Like I'm thinking now, why don't we have like hundreds more that are like fucking us up and shit?
Now it's like more people catch it, but no symptoms, right?
Yeah.
I would say. I have a friend. He's a Dutch. He lives in Rotterdam. Like last week, he told me, "Oh, I got COVID again. It's his second time in his life." I asked, "How are you? I mean, how do you feel now?" He said, "I feel okay. I feel like there's nothing." Because compared with his first time, the first time was horrible. He said.
Oh, he got it twice.
Yes, twice.
Wow.
Yeah, for the first time, he said it's like much worse compared with flu. But for this time, for the second time, the virus should be Omicron, right? So he like running nose. That's it. And after 3 days, he tested me. Oh, I'm back to negative. I said, congratulations. It's only like 3 days. That's it. So he didn't take any pills. He didn't, basically he didn't do anything. Just lying down, chill, like relaxing at home. That's it.
Well, I had like the sneezing, but other than that, I didn't get sick at all when I tested positive, and was trying to get it out. My doctor said that I kept testing positive to it, but I had no symptoms, and kept getting positive all the time. And they said you've got to, because I had the 3 boosters, sometimes it stays in your nose and in your mouth, and it takes a couple of weeks to get out. So every night I had the towel over my head with the Vicks, sniffing the Vicks up and trying to get it all. Yeah, so it took me 2.5 weeks to get a negative test. So I could only imagine what would have happened if I was here in China. It would have been a disaster, but I wouldn't have been outside with 60,000 people at a rugby game. So yeah, that's with no mask.
For sure, you will experience everyone sharing in the whole bedroom thing, like one shower, one washroom thing.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
There was some random thing that came out. I don't know if it was here, but I got told about something where it was like, oh, if you have COVID, like, and you share with somebody, like, don't sleep together or do anything. It's like, if you're a married couple and you live together with one room, what's one person going to do? Sleep on the bloody sofa? No.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like at the start, they had the rule where they couldn't have the kids with the parents.
Yeah,
like, the young kids with the parents, and that was they changed that rule, which was
God.
That was some dystopian shit, man. that was crazy.
And like this, like, what are your plans for the future? Stay in Shanghai, to stay in China? Let's start with you, Ceci.
First of all, I know a lot of foreigners who lived in Shanghai or China, already left. More or less because of the COVID thing, because of the lockdown this time, but it should be complicated reasons, right? So, but for me personally, let's see, go through the whole year first. Let's see 2022 first, and then, I mean, I personally, I don't have any specific plans to, let's say, stay in Shanghai or leave Shanghai or wherever I go. Just live it in the moment. We cannot plan, right?
That's the difficult thing, not being able to have a plan and a schedule.
Exactly. But hopefully we can open our borders, open our doors.
Yeah. I did hear that next month the quarantine in China will now be 3 days. So apparently that's going to help. They want more businesses to start coming from overseas and start bring back the economy back to what it was before lockdown.
Yeah, but with such an unstable market at the moment and the fact that a bunch of foreign businesses have pulled out funding, I don't think. I think it's going to take a lot more than that. Yeah. Also, I don't believe that it will just be 3 days.
Look at it in a positive way, 3 days only, because I work in hotel in our industry, especially, in my hotel now, we don't have, or we have very less foreign guests. But before COVID, before 2020, majority of our guests are foreigners, foreign guests. So let's say if it reduced to 3 days only, probably there will be more visitors coming to China or business coming back and forth. So hopefully it's going to happen soon, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys can go back home or visit your friends, families. Pretty much easier.
That's all I ask. I ask that I can just visit home at once or twice a year, and I'll be happy to stay here for a lot longer. Jace, thanks, Ceci. Jace, what about you, mate? What's your plan?
Man, I'm on an exit plan, man. Maybe 1 or 2 more years. It's the whole, it's the last, I don't know, I feel like when I got here, man, Shanghai was one of the most beautiful, well, still a beautiful city, but one of the greatest cities in the world. It was so open, so free. It was, man, then they started 6 years ago with the drug raids, sort of going to bars, taking people from their homes, their jobs, shaving their heads, and I didn't have to worry about that, but piss testing them and shit, and that was the whole invasive thing. You already had a lot of people moving then. It was all right, no one's smoking weed anymore, whatever. We still live here, man. It's still a good place. So had shows and shit. Even during the initial COVID, man, we were the only place in the world still open and doing shows. And then, man, it flipped, man. It became the best place to be during COVID to the worst place in the world to experience this. You got locked up like a prisoner in your own home for 2 months. I enjoyed it, but whatever. It was fundamentally wrong. It was, and now they're killing all the fucking bars and the live houses now. It's all bullshit. Our whole Inferno, we just got the okay to open up like yesterday after like 5 months. They let us open for 5 days in like July and then they closed it again. Meanwhile, all the restaurants and the cafes immediately adjacent to us could serve alcohol and food, but they weren't a bar, so they didn't have a problem. Bars can open. Live houses can't open. I told you today, like everyone's got to get vaccinated now to play a show. I don't have to get vaccinated to go teach my kids at the school, but I have to get vaccinated to play a show. Like what this, man, they've been sort of, I don't want to say I don't want to be conspiratorial or paranoid or that type of shit. And they've been squeezing this shit out, man, making it harder for to do music, have any sort of underground culture and shit. They've been, and now they're just like, oh, well, it's really good of everybody else if you can't have the bar open. Or you can go to the restaurant next door and drink, get fucked up, whatever. Bars can't be open. The live houses can't be open. Now they're sort of like, because they can only say that so long before it's just even too ridiculous. But it's like, man, Dave, Shanghai used to be the greatest place in the world. Now everyone's leaving.
Yeah.
1 or 2 more years. I've been saving up for like a house on the side and shit. Get a house in Canada. Like I don't want to necessarily retire to Canada right now, but to have a house or something like a little nest egg. But man, like why am I putting up with this stuff anymore?
Yeah. Well, I've said it last time but yeah, if it goes into a major lockdown, I've seriously got to consider my options here in Shanghai after all I've done to get back here. So and it's just a shame, like you said, mate. Shanghai, to me, people don't understand back at home what Shanghai is really like when there's no
the best places in the world.
Yeah.
I've been here 11 years.
Restaurant and cafes and bars and comedy shows
Culture, man.
Yeah,
culture.
you can go
locals,
to an art
foreigners,
museum,
all together, all over the world.
And
it's kind of like the fucking world.
Josh, future for you, mate.
Well, the future for us is we're looking to go to Bangkok in the next at some point next year. Like we have an exit plan, and it's to get out as soon as possible because this lockdown was just like they've done this not just to foreigners but to their own people. What else are they capable of? And I feel like, when you, as Jason said, you come to Shanghai, you're aware of what China is as a country, but you sort of gloss over it because of how cosmopolitan Shanghai is and all of that. But then stuff like this happens and you realize, oh, actually, it's capable of this sort of thing. So yeah, we're looking to get out. I'm waiting for my drummer to come back so that my
You have a drummer?
Some dude who's been to Australia. I have a drummer. I've been waiting for him to come back and we can record some EP.
Yeah, it was like 8 months last time and 3 months this time.
Yeah. And put that on another one of those compilation albums. Thank you, Jason. Essentially it's, I would love to play some shows again, but no idea. If I'm able to play some music this year, that would be great because I've had no motivation to make any. I've made maybe 2 songs by myself, maybe 3, but because it's just like, as much as I have the tools on my laptop, it's not the same. Yeah. I want to be in a practice studio for an hour and a half sweating. So yeah, but Bangkok I'm looking forward to. Even if it means I don't earn maybe as much as I've earned in Shanghai, I would rather earn not as much, but be free and know that I can go outside without having to wear a mask so that I can enjoy and experience culture. And it's a shame because as Jason said, coming here 6 years ago, best city in the world. I said to myself, I'll either in 5 days hate it and want to go home or I'll never leave. And then 6 years later, I'm still here. So it's sad that this is how, and I feel like, all of this has just gone, right, well, clearly the city doesn't want me here anymore. So I don't even get, I can't end it on my terms. It's like, well, that's it. And it's a shame. Yeah. But excited for what the future holds. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you the same opinion, Ceci, about Shanghai?
Even, I'm not Shanghainese and pretty much same as you guys that this is not my hometown, but for my work, for my career development, I feel like Shanghai's there's much more there are much more choices or opportunities to go. So we will see. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, dude.
Can't believe you have gone through 2 lockdowns in Shanghai. Credit to yourself. Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in person. Let's chug some beers, all right?
Do that.
I'll be down for
That's much better.
Thanks for having me, bud.
Thanks, guys.
that. See you later.
Cheers. Now, a few people have asked me, how did I get back to Newcastle, Australia in a major lockdown? I booked a flight that went via Hong Kong, and as long as I had flights on the one ticket, I was okay to go back. I had to get my license from the community compound of my apartment building, and I also had to get private cars to go to the hospital and then also drive me to the airport. That was an insane time, getting picked up in a private car with a guy with a hazmat suit on and just seeing the roads just totally empty. So you had to get a PCR test 48 hours prior to departure and another one on the day. So I went to Jiahui International Hospital and the test took about 6 to 7 hours. When I got there, they wanted my green code and they also wanted to see my DAT for Australia. And finally, they wanted to see my international certificate of my vaccines. It was a very eerie experience going to Shanghai Airport in Pudong, and there's only 3 flights that whole day. But coming back to China was a little bit more difficult. Unfortunately, the first week that I was there, I went to the Magic Round in Brisbane and come back and found out that I had COVID. So that set me back a little bit. I had to wait 2 weeks before I had a negative test. As the flights from Sydney to Shanghai were extremely expensive and very limited, I decided to go via Auckland. Now, there was a stage there where they only accepted direct flights going from your country of origin to China, but they did change the rule in July where you were able to go via another country as long as you got the health code from that city as well. So again, I did the same thing. I got my PCR test done in Newcastle 48 hours prior. Then I went online to submit my health certificate to the embassy. You went to a website there, and then they would give you the blue code for Australia to then fly to Auckland. So I did that the night before I left, and they pretty much replied back within 2 hours of me sending all the information through to get the health code, which was quite good. And in the morning, they had a testing facility where I pre-booked a test, and then it said in the terms and conditions that I gave permission to send this result to the China embassy. Then I got on the flight to New Zealand and followed their health regulations as well. I had to do a RAT test the first 24 hours that I was in New Zealand. And then I started the whole process again of getting the 2 PCR tests. It was a little bit more difficult, I would say, in New Zealand. But for the people that are wanting to return, it is possible to do it going via Auckland. But be prepared to pay upwards of 250 New Zealand dollars per test. And then for the second test, it's a little strange that it says that you need to get the test done after 3 p.m. on the day before you leave. So when I went onto the website that they advised from the New Zealand embassy, all the 3 p.m. were taken. So I was lucky enough to find a medical clinic in Bakersfield in Auckland, and they were able to give me a test. They sent me the result around 10:30 that same day, and then in the morning I was able to send through both my health certificates, and within maybe 30 minutes to an hour, I got my green code to come back to China. Now, I was told in Australia, and I was also told at the Shanghai airport, that it was going to be 7 days in the hotel and 3 days in your apartment. But according to the hotel that I stayed in, Shihui still has a 10-day quarantine in the hotel. And what was interesting was some of the people that were on my flight went to another district, and they still had the 10 days, but they paid half as what I paid. So just be prepared to pay upwards of 580 to 600 yuan a night.